the trade deadline's getting hot, and there's players that are linked to trades or should get moved. But I think both you and I have talked extensively about one player, and no, it's not Coby Mayo this time. It's the other player, Connor Norby, who, even though he looks like a candidate to be moved, you have a different opinion on what he could be if given the chance in Baltimore.
Oh, he is a major league second baseman or a major league outfielder. Either way, he's a major league hitter. I mean,
Yeah.
the dude's hitting 294 this season. He's hit 351 in July. He's hit 4 home runs in his last 5 games. I've said it before on here, like in any other organization, he's selling tickets. He's a guy fans will know, and he's completely confident in that fact. And he went up for 4 games. He hit 214 or whatever, but it's tough when you go up for a little bit and you're playing spot duty. But when he came back, he told me all that time up there did was confirm to me that I can play in the major leagues. And he's completely confident that he can. He just doesn't have the opportunity in this organization. And regarding trade rumors or speculation, he and I have talked about it a lot. I think I've mentioned before, I did a story on at the trade deadline last year where it was him and Mayo and Stowers and a couple other guys sitting in a room on the day of the deadline, just wondering, like, what if this is the last time we're all together? Because they didn't know. If based on what they were reading, they were all going to go their separate ways, and they kind of kept as Norb said, they kept the band together. And I don't know if that's going to happen twice. I'm not even sure that's possible, especially with the Orioles in contention in first place. And they're trying to win, so they need pieces in the big leagues, and they unfortunately don't need the pieces they have here necessarily. However,
go ahead.
I would say that of all the guys they have, all the pieces they have, Mayo and Norby are the most untouchable. They should just leave them alone.
Interesting. So you know what? I love that you said that, because a lot of people are going to say, well, you have Jackson Holiday there. And again, like there's nothing that Jackson has done for anyone to discredit or change their opinion on what he could potentially become. He's so young. But I think what you're just trying to point out more is that Connor Norby, and this is why when you're saying trade chips, Connor Norby also would be a team's top 3 prospect, maybe top 2 if he was with another organization. He sits as the Orioles' number 5 overall prospect for their team. So if that gives you guys context on how he's viewed, at least on MLB.com, the only guys ahead of him are Coby Mayo, Sam Basayo, Jackson Holiday, and then they have Enrique Bradfield Jr. on this list. But so in this case, then, if we're looking at it, okay, so Norby, let's just say they keep Norby. Do you think then the time right now for like a guy like Kyle Stowers, who, shout out Kyle, he doesn't want to be a home run record leader down in Norfolk, but he's a guy that has proven all he can at that level. Does he seem like a candidate really that there's no way that they can keep him after this deadline?
To me, he's more movable than the other guys, and that's no knock on him. Like you said, nobody wants to be the home run leader in AAA. It means you've been here too long, and I think anybody would agree with that. Buck Britton said as much the other day, the manager here. But as Buck also said, all home runs are welcome. So there's nothing bad about having that record, really. But yeah, I mean, I think given the depth they have in the outfield, yeah, Kyle could be a dude. I mean, certainly as much as anybody else. And I don't think he's at the level of protection that Norby and Mayo are at. So we'll see what happens.
Would it be something as simple as if Kyle Stowers was a right-handed hitter, he'd have a better opportunity? Because it feels like right now the Orioles are in a tougher spot because they have so many left-handed outfielders. You have guys like Colton Cowser is getting a majority of his at-bats right now against lefties. And he's obviously struggling against lefties. He's not as good statistically against lefties as righties, but because of the construction of the roster right now, he's forced to go hit majority lefties. Do you think that opens up a window for a Connor Norby to say, hey, maybe second base isn't where you're going to be on the roster right now, but if we can get you in the outfield, we think you have better opportunity here?
Well, that's certainly why Connor has spent the past year and a half learning the outfield, because he knows. I mean, look at it this way. He's not only blocked in Baltimore, he's blocked here because they have Jackson playing second base. And so that bumped Connor to the corner outfield, and he's embraced it. And he understands that the more versatile he is, the better his chances will be to get to Baltimore or get to the big leagues with another team. And he wants to play for the Orioles, but he has said that it's a business, and if he has to go elsewhere, he's fine with that. So that the goal of everybody here in AAA is to get to the big leagues, period. And if that's with Baltimore or Oakland or the White Sox or whoever, then let's go. Sign me up. And that's the way they look at it.
Yeah, I think my favorite quote of his was when he said he's already a good minor leaguer, but he wants to be a good major leaguer. And kind of brings up Rocco. I know you have a question about another prospect you want to talk about.
Yeah, while we're on the topic of just, Rip brought him up in the beginning, Coby Mayo, in your words, your terminology, he did hit another ass missile yesterday to deep center field. Love that, by the way. That was hilarious.
I'll never live that down.
No, you won't. You won't. And we're going to use that on here for now on. Even though it might be called something else, we're just going to let you live with that. But with Coby Mayo, people have seen him just hit the cover off the ball. And I think it's so much more than that with him as a ball player. But looking at the Orioles right now, and especially this series, their bats have struggled tremendously. Do you see a potential call? Like, do you get a feel that a Coby Mayo potential call-up is on the horizon? I know you're not Mike Elias. You don't make the front office moves, but what's your feel down there in Norfolk just watching him play?
He's 22 years old. He's a grown man. I mean, watching him take BP, he's a grown man in that body, and he's ready. I mean, the dude is hitting 299 his overall this season. I've said, like, I don't want to. I think I said it last time. I don't want to gush on him too much, but
how about this then, David? On this, because the other part is, how did Coby Mayo not get selected for the Futures game? Because that was Sam Basayo got elected, and Coby Mayo, he's the 15th overall prospect in the game, I think, right now. He's up there, and Coby Mayo was omitted from that list. That to me doesn't seem like it's a very fair consensus on talking about future all-stars or futures for the sport of Major League Baseball.
Well, I think the futures game is geared more toward lower level players like that. I don't think they don't take a lot of AAA guys. And Coby, it's also an introduction to prospects. And I don't think Coby needs any introduction at this point. People are aware of him. Also, there may be some politics in there in terms of, are you willing to come out to Texas for 3 days? I mean, if it were me, and you know this, Rip, I used to joke with players. If they turn me down for an interview or something, I would go, okay, I'm going to vote for you for the All-Star team. Like, it's a punishment. Like, you don't get your 3 days at home. I'm going to send you to freaking Sacramento or wherever the game is for 3 days. So, I don't know if Coby wanted to go. I don't know if that was discussed. I'm not speaking for him at all. But yeah, I think that's more for lower level guys who people haven't heard of. And Coby has made a name for himself for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to make a name for yourself when you're hitting a home run every other day.
Yeah.
Literally. I think the one name, though, that was on that list, correct me if I'm wrong, though, Zach, James Wood, who just debuted for the Nationals,
which is really interesting.
To play in the futures game. So the only reason I brought it, I think more so, David, for me, I personally, Coby cares about making the majors, right? That's his number one. He wants to play in the bigs. But I think it's just the recognition. I think that also is what fuels him, David. I still think Orioles fans understand how good the bat is. I don't think the rest of baseball or baseball fans have figured out how talented of a player he is.